So we've got 60 minutes to connect today. The first part is going to be about the model itself, and I'll be taking you through how we've developed the PI strategy itself. We're going to switch off the camera and we're going to get to know each other a little bit more for the second part. And then the third part, we're going to look at how the project verticals marries up with the PI ecosystem as it was created for impact. So quick review on our 5 levels. And if you look at the slides from our previous Monday welcomes and our previous minutes, you'll see that there's different ways that we can use these 5 levels of impact. Just for a quick review in the context of what we're looking at today, we've been using these 5 levels. It marries up with the 5 levels of thought in neuroscience. It also marries up with a lot of the business models and thinking models that strategic models that are about, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Porter's value chain, Rogers' innovation model, and so on and so forth. What I've discovered is that when I'm coaching from a level 5 and then dropping down to a level 1 to understand resources and taking the client up through creating a plan, was a really, really effective way of using the 5 levels to create strategic planning and understanding what actions to take based on current resources, which is really important in coaching and empowering clients. So we use this to create the first plan, the impact plan for the PI ecosystem. That was really interesting because we originally, when I was thinking about PI, I wanted to make, literally, it was about the biggest impact we can make with regards to a global community and what was needed across all different types of communities, from business to social to local, and how we can span the globe by implementing a fast response community strategy that was aligned with the 5 levels. So we started literally putting PI through those 5 levels. When creating a strategy, it is level 5, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then as you implement it, you get back up to level 5. If that was a coaching session, usually the client has exceeded their expectations of their original level 5 by the time they get to level 5 again, and they've gone through the steps. What we have discovered is that when we are learning the roadmap, so all planned out, and actually taking the physical steps, starting from a level 1 and then transitioning up to a level 5 is the order. So what we've done as we document our learning, we've subscribed to various publishing apps that enable us to strategize in a particular order and then rearrange that order and put it in the right order so that somebody else can actually read it as more of a textbook and learn the roadmap that actually guide them through the impact levels. So with PI, we took one set of level 5s and identified the 5 levels of what we wanted to achieve with global positive impact, the greatest positive impact we could possibly make as a global community. We called that Power 1. So it's like literally one of 5 levels. There's only, I only had the space to show one of the 5 levels to demonstrate the nesting aspect of this. We then took the 5 levels again and took them to the power of 2. So if you think about all 5 levels represented in the power of 1, and then dropping down to resource, or starting with the level 5 impact, and then dropping down to the resources, then when you take it to the power of 2, level 5 at a power of 2 impact level, then completing the 5 levels at a level 5, dropping down to the level 1 and then completing at level 5, and then dropping down to the level 1 and completing that, and really following a very systematic approach where our level 5s dictated our level 1s, even through the nesting process. And then we took each of those to the power of 3, and they did it again. And then the power of 4, and we did it again. And then the power of 5, and we did it again. By the time we got to the power of 5, so then that's 5 to the power of 5, we found that the tasks were either, that we called them tasks, and I'll go through our terminology in a moment. At that point, it either redirected us to do something that we had already done in another power, or a job was done and dusted, finished. So we found that through this process, by the time we got to level 5, we actually got to the edge of everything we needed to do to be able to create a positive global community that was sustainable. So taking you through the level referencing. So the power of 1, which is our level 5, if it becomes a bit of a 3D model. So while I'm showing it flat, think about it, I think it's more beneficial to think about it as 3D. So that's the highest perspective. So that is our top impact level 5. And we call those levels. So we've got level 1 to level 5, L1 to L5 in our referencing. Power of 2, which is our level 4, the strategic level, we call them strategies. We've got S1 to S25, so that we can differentiate between them. Power of 3, which is our functional levels, we use project management Gantt charts to manage our projects. So we've given those to differentiate between P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. We've called them Gantts, and G1 to G125 with regards to their referencing. Power of 4, which is more the transactional level 2. We found that they were milestones that actually can be achieved, and that's M1 to M625. And then finally on the final units, which is the level 1, what's the smallest thing that needs to take place? What we found was the level 5 were the intentions that we wanted to make. What was our intention, and then how were we going to achieve it at a task level? So we've got task 1 to task 3,125 that actually works in a strategic order, so they are strategic tasks. But to differentiate the N numbers, so it's actually not T3125, that would be an N. To differentiate between the level 5s with what we wanted to achieve, they were replaced, the T was replaced with an N. So we've got N5, N10, N15, N20, and so on, so that we can really get into the granular detail on knowing what we're learning and what we're intending to implement, and then discussing that in a plan, coming to consensus within committee, makes sure that we are really precise to be following the intentions and tasks in the order that we want to be following them. So with this, we really created a system that has enabled us to collaborate over shared values, strategies, and goals, and be really objective about discussing and strengthening them. So over the last few months, there has been multiple people that have joined us as collaborators and contributed to the master plan, where we have now as a team the 3,125 actions to implement. I'm going to turn off the recording.